Let's take a look at the vintage Kenner Star Wars Millennium Falcon. So first, let's start off with the box. Now it has battle alert sounds. This box has the rebate offer for $1, assembly required, and action figures sold separately. It contains sturdy plastic spaceship with battle alert action sound, folding landing gears, folding entrance ramp, opening cockpit, removable rear hatch, secret hiding compartment, space chess game table, practice remote ball, a revolving radar dish, and clicking laser gun with seat. Toy uses 2C batteries, not included. Okay. And then you have the Cloud City backdrop and the figures and the Millennium Falcon text. Now on the side of the box, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back Millennium Falcon. And then this originally retailed for $32.97. And there it is, the Millennium Falcon, a kid playing with it. And then Scree is what the laser sound makes. Now that's the inside of the box. And on this side, the proof of purchase is cut out. Secret compartment for hiding stormtroopers. Clicking laser gun rotates and has seat for figures. Chewbacca and R2-D2 play space chess while Luke has lightsaber practice. And cockpit seats 2 Star Wars action figures. Now, of course, you're saying, well, that's a very nice box. We just have one more side, and then we'll get into the toy. So we got the Millennium Falcon, and they didn't update the back. This is the same back as on the Star Wars release, except it doesn't say Star Wars. It says Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. So that's the graphic of what the original box would have looked like, and they did update it for Return of the Jedi. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's get into the actual toy. And here is the Millennium Falcon. And you're saying, well, your old toys, it just looks like a big piece of junk. Well, that's because it is. At least that's what Luke Skywalker calls it. And, well, if you're a sequels fan, that's what R-E-Y calls it. Right. And we have Han Solo and Chewbacca because it is their ship. So let's get Han and Chewie ready. So the loading ramp, it lowers down just like that. Now you want to watch out because the tab is frequently broken on this. So you do want to watch out for that, and these two struts are either missing or snapped. Fortunately, that has not happened to mine. Now, Han and Chewie want to give you a tour of the inside, so I will remove the cover hatch. And, well, you're saying, well, the cover hatch does have a cool feature that is worth noting. So you'll see these two tabs, and you're saying, well, your old toys, they're just two tabs. But if you take the bottom panel hatch, if you're playing with it, you can actually, so you don't lose it, you just slide it up into those tabs. It's a little finicky, but once you have it, it securely sits in there so you don't lose it, and you can just set that all off to the side. Now, I'll bring the ship a little closer. And we'll load Chewbacca into the Millennium Falcon. And, well, we'll kind of make a little scene here with some figures. So, I'll grab R2-D2, and I will put him right there, so that he can play Chewbacca and Jajaric, space chess, whatever you want to call it. So they can be kind of doing that. We'll have C3PO kind of commenting on the game. I'll have Luke Skywalker doing Jedi training exercises with the training ball. And you do want to watch out for that training ball, because the training ball actually is the easiest part to make reproductions of. The arm is more frequently there than the training ball. And what people would do, because it's actually fairly easy to source reproductions, even back in the 80s it was, because it's not a custom part. It's just a black craft speed on a piece of string, and that's what the training ball was. And there's this kind of little thing there with a little kind of footrest, but Kenner never described this, but Han has that kind of chair and the control panel. So what I always love to use that as is just if you angle Han's feet, he just sits perfectly in there. So we have them doing their thing back there playing space chess. Luke's doing his exercises and Han's just kind of commenting on it all. But TIE fighters have been detected on the radar dish. So Han's gotta gun the Falcon. So if you kick his legs up and just slide him up into the gunner's chair, which he does slide up there, and you can have him gun the Falcon. Spin him around, have him blasting those TIE fighters. But there's another fun play feature right there. And of course the landing gear do lift up, and well, they're getting close to dropping out of hyperspace because the alarm is sounding. So Han and Chewie have got to go to the cockpit to go and fly the Falcon. So you just turn the Falcon just like this, and you open up the cockpit, and well, Chewie is prepping the cockpit for landing. Everybody in the back is strapping in because it's gonna be a hard drop out of hyperspace. And this is always the most fun part, just setting up your figures. So there you go, Han and Chewie flying the Falcon. And the controls are pretty nicely detailed. If I can get the camera around there to get it, you can kind of see the control panels, which that's pretty cool right there. It's cool that they had those details. And then you got the kind of classic thing there. And that front landing gear never, ever has liked to just stay in place. However, they did land aboard the Death Star. So they see the stormtroopers outside waiting to board. And well, Luke found a nice place to hide, so Han and Chewie will just kind of lay him in there. I guess you could actually fit Luke in there if you really did want to. You can cram 3 action figures in there, and it'll close perfectly. So they sent a scanning crew aboard. So the stormtrooper comes up, he scans, he's right on top of them, doesn't detect anything. He sees the two droids. He's like, well, they're droids, and they seem to be powered off, so we're not looking for any droids right now. These do look like the droids we are looking for, but we don't need these droids. So he gets on and he says the ship's all clear, and then they lift up the floor hatch and they come out, and then you know what happens. And if you don't, go watch Star Wars again, because it is a great movie. But I think that just about does sum it up for the Millennium Falcon. It is a flagship vehicle in a collection. Don't get me wrong. If you don't have it in your collection, it's one of the essentials to a vintage Kenner Star Wars collection. Yeah, a tie-in. There's the Cantina aliens, Jabba's aliens. Those are all nice to have. The Millennium Falcon, its crew, and really everything that was showcased in this video, except for the box, is a necessity to any vintage Kenner Star Wars collection, or just the Millennium Falcon in general. Whatever line you are collecting, you have to have a Millennium Falcon. But that's really all I have for you guys today. So what do you think? Do you have the Falcon? Did you have the Falcon? Do you want the Falcon after watching today's video? If any of those apply to you and you want to see more valuable Star Wars content like this, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we will talk again soon.